Hi, welcome to The Hinge. We're quickly going to talk about some stuff. Oh shit, I'm the thing, but you can still hear me. We've just done a review of Shin Ultraman, and I'm probably going to edit this first because it'll only take a minute. Sorry we've been gone so long.
Look out for that Shin Ultraman review.
Yeah, we've pretty much not done anything for ages. We did that Chainsaw Man thing, but that was about it in the past 4 months.
That was it. No collects or anything like that. But I've got a lot of collecty things coming. There's a lot of things arriving.
There's stuff around it. We will do more collects. We will do the Thutmose Christmas special end of year thing. I cannot wait. I can't remember what the monster is. It's not Beethoven's Ghost. It's not.
What was it? We did get excited about it when we saw it.
It's Frankenstein. Mark, I watched Rings of Power. It was pretty good. I don't want to talk about it loads, but I'm just trying to think of stuff that's been out. And
Rings of Power was one of the things that's been out.
It was enjoyable.
Rings of Power?
Fine.
And I say we squash the dwarves and boil them. My precious.
Yeah,
enjoyable.
I enjoyed it. There was a bit in the middle where I was a bit like, are we treading on the same footsteps as Return of the King and a lot of the other sort of Lord of the Rings, plot threads, like the Returning of the King. But then I was like, actually, spoilers for the entire thing.
Yeah.
They did sort of redeem it because it was like, oh no, it's a bit different.
It's a bit different.
Like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense now.
But no, I enjoyed it. It was nice. But bizarrely, a completely different company. I can't remember where they're from, but a completely different company owns the film rights.
Yeah, I know.
So someone else can just make films tomorrow, which is weird.
Like Aragorn's story or Frodo's story. Or things
but
like
hopefully
that.
they will.
That is really bizarre to me. But I don't know. It's not been done before. I don't know. You'd have to really, really make it. You'd have to use all the same people who were involved in those films because I feel like that's what people want from.
We've now got a certain look.
Yeah, that's it.
If it doesn't look exactly like it.
It's like the Star Wars world. It's like now there's this world, and it all has to fit in together. Otherwise, we're going to be like,
yeah.
But
anything else?
I have. I've watched a few Marvel things. Obviously, I've told you to watch Werewolf by Night a few times. That happened around Halloween, which is actually pretty good. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I thought it was
it's like 40 minutes.
Just a bit of fun, really. It's just a bit of a fun romp.
Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. I know you've only seen one of them.
Two.
Which one have you seen? Have you seen Autopsy?
I've not seen that. Oh, wait,
watch
I've seen two, I think.
What's the second one? Oh, the Rats one.
Maybe I've not seen two.
No, just watch them. I think it was the biggest stream thing of the year.
Really?
Or the second, yeah. So they're hopefully making on. It's just loads of different films made by different directors. But definitely watch the Autopsy and definitely watch The Viewing. The one with Rupert Grint is a big pile of shit, and it has the guy from Lord of the Rings in.
Which guy?
That Rings of Power. The cool elf guy in it.
Oh yeah. I saw him in it. Wait, maybe I have seen it.
With Rupert Grint, it's a really bad one, but he's in it, and you're like, "Who's this guy? Why do I know him?" And he just looks completely different.
Yeah,
just
have glasses.
Glasses, but he kind of just looks a bit. I think they've just put loads of clothes in.
It's a very different thing being an elf, though. It's like all the Lord of the Rings people look so different when they're in Lord of the Rings costumes when they're not.
He just looks like he's sort of uncool brother of. I don't know, there's something, but I didn't realise till right at the end of the episode. But definitely watch that.
Wednesday.
Oh,
I watched Wednesday.
Is it a film or is it a series?
It's a series. And it's long. It's kind of like those like Lock and Key sort of like children-y kind of like Netflix shows, like kind of a bit Sabrina-y and stuff like that. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it. There needs to be. There's one thing, right? One of my
Tim Burton, by the way.
It is Tim Burton.
I made that up in my head. It feels like the kind of thing.
And the one thing that I really liked was the monster in it is drawn very Tim Burton-y. It looks almost identical to a Tim Burton drawing, and it's like Tim Burton went, "Yeah, can you make it look like this?" And the special effects guys went, "Okay, it's not going to fit in with the world, but I'll just make it exactly like that." And it was quite cool seeing that. But one thing is, right, the Addams Family universe works, and all the jokes work because they're all very macabre, and they're also talking about murdering people and killing everyone. But then she's basically trying to stop these murders happening. But surely, like, if it was the Addams Family universe, they'd just be like,
they kill people all the time. They cook people in cakes. They cook a stripper in a cake.
The whole big thing is like stopping Gomez from like seeming like a murderer, and she's got to clear his name, and it's all like,
is that what
who
the
did
plot
it?
is? Yeah.
Who did it? And it's just kind of like, oh my god, who did do it? But it's like, who gives a shit? Gomez can kill whoever the fuck he wants.
Their garden is graves, basically, isn't it?
Like, that's the thing. Like the whole point of the Addams Family is it's very macabre. But they were like, oh, but like they made some jokes like that, but then they would go back and be like, oh, but killing's wrong though. Oh, but you can't do that. And it's kind of a bit weird. So my issue with it was that they needed to go in on it. Yeah, that's what the Addams Family is. It kind of felt like they were kind of doing a bit of a, murder's wrong, but we'll just make jokes about it instead.
Just go hardcore, because I say going back to that Guillermo del Toro thing, because I told my sister for the niece to watch it. She's like 12, and I was like, because the first couple episodes are pretty light.
I don't know about that.
And then I was like,
I don't know.
I watched like the first two episodes, and I was like, she'll be fine watching this. And then later on, there's one where like this kid's getting cooked and eaten. Like there's a kid's head in an oven, and I was just reading around saying like, "Don't
we're just halfway through episode 6.
I was like, "Fucking hell, this goes. It really goes for it." But then it's good because it's gone for it.
That's the thing. Yeah,
just go. If you're gonna be like an 18, just fucking go for it. Like because then you remember it.
Sorry, one other thing that I've watched is Wakanda Forever.
I've heard middling.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was a lot of things that were really, really, really fantastic about it. I think just the structure of it, and I got a bit bored. I sound a bit similar to my Shin Ultraman thing, but about 2/3 of the way through, I was a bit like, okay, I'm kind of done with this now. So I don't know. I don't really agree with a lot. I mean, I've not really seen many criticisms or anything like that. Like, I do know it's kind of middling, but it's quite high up, but I kind of don't really think it's as high as it should be.
Yeah, I've not seen it like be trash, but just more like.
It was a really, really beautiful send off, and it was a really, really cool concept and stuff like that. And Namor is amazing, like really fucking cool, and I love that villain. But yeah, I just sort of lost interest about halfway through. But that's all I'll say about it. I'll let everyone watch it.
I had something else to watch, but I can't fucking remember. Andor. Andor. Right. Also, I feel like we didn't finish. I can't remember if we ever stopped talking about fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was so fucking long ago.
We did. I think we finished Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Didn't like it, Mark. And just
you didn't like it.
I didn't like it, and I didn't like the fact the speeders flew in like that. The little snow speeders in it, and they went like this, and they kind of moved like someone had a mouse, and then 4 people got in the back. But anyway, fuck it, that doesn't
4
matter.
people got in the back of it,
or 3 of them got in the back of it. It was stupid.
You can imagine 3 might work.
Dak wasn't that big a guy. Like, it was a tiny little...
Let's go in and look at Dak's body being pulled out of that thing and measure him and go, how big is that?
Anyway, that was last sort of
also,
Star Wars
as a child,
thing.
Leia was a child at it. Of course, she could get in it. She could sit on someone's lap.
It was just silly. It was just very, very silly.
That snow speed of it was a bit silly. I have to say, can I just quickly just defend everyone for a minute? I think watching Andor after watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, obviously we're going to be like, holy shit, that's a much better thing. Like, I feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2 should take a lot of.
I hope everyone watched it and went, oh,
that's how you do a new Star
when Obi-Wan
Wars
sat in his little cave, it's all CGI green screen. It's like, oh, why didn't we just go to a real cave or just go to a beach with a bit of sand, like, and it looks much better. But Andor, obviously, I really like Rogue One. So I was kind of hoping it would be good, but at the same time, I was like, well, what can they really fucking do? Why am I going to care? Because I don't want to do it Obi-Wan where you have to start there, you have to end there, and in between, it's like,
and
it's
obviously the same sort of thing.
Where you're like, he has to get to there. I fucking loved it. Yeah. I literally, every single episode, I loved, and I look forward to it. And yes, episodes didn't tie everything up in the same, like The Mandalorian, where it'll have certain episodes like a bottle, where he goes to a town, kills the bad guy, and leaves. No episodes of Andor were like that. You had to wait for stuff to happen, but it just fucking worked. Like, I was excited every fucking Wednesday going, like, fucking, right, Andor. There was no cringy bits, there was no rubbish jokes, there was no missteps. There was no like, why is that? Remember in The Mandalorian where they go to the prison thing and it's got that girl with the tubes and she's like, she's yes, right, and she was just awful and you're cringing. Or when they make Baby Yoda have baby voice, like real baby sounds in some of the things.
I don't hate any of The Mandalorian.
No, I don't hate it. No, but certain episodes I'm like, that's a bit cringe, or that didn't really work. Okay. Whereas every episode Andor, it might not have been every episode ended with a big shootout or something, but it was like everything was done on purpose and built to something. Yeah. And I understood that
even if it didn't end in a big battle sequence, it ended in a way that at a point where you were like, "Fuck, I can't wait." I cannot wait. Next.
And in Mandalorian, I love the Mandalorian, and I love Grogu, even if he makes silly noises. But I love their relationship, and I care about them. But through both those seasons, it's very rare with the other characters I really give a shit about them. Whereas Andor, literally, there was like even Cyril the twat. By the way, spoilers for Andor. Cyril was a bit of a twat, and but you kind of cared about what he was doing with his life. And Dedra.
I was desperate for those two to get together.
Yeah,
I really, when they got into that cupboard, I was like, "Hey, we're gonna have a very mouthy, very weird, toothy kiss here."
Oh, does
I was. I really thought she'd be like, and he'd be like. And I was just really wanting to see that. I was shipping those two very hard. I want to see that in the next season.
It really spoke to me. And like the whole bit with Luthen when he has that big speech on top of the thing, and he's like Batman with his cape in the wind.
Yeah. So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
Talk about the guy, and he's like, he's basically his whole life is this, and no one's even going to know about it. The whole Kino Loy thing where he's getting all the people to go out of the prison, and then obviously he can't swim. And did he?
God, that was so brutal.
It was so brutal, and
I just keep thinking about someone knocking him off and then him going, I can't swim in the water, and then someone just getting him and just being like.
But like Andor was just like, oh, this what? Like you just felt like knocked out.
There is a fix there. Like
that's
just
all,
be like, go across your arms.
And when they go to the beach place, that's all near Blackpool. That's in Thornton Cleveland.
Really?
Yeah, I want to go.
You want to go?
Yeah, it's like an hour away.
You need to go.
Just go to the beach.
Cool.
You
Let's
can
go to Blackpool.
I know, yeah, because even on the show they've tried to make it look sunny.
Oh shit, that is there.
Yeah, it's Thornton Cleveland, but they've tried to make it look sunny, but you can tell they've really like put the effect. You know, like 'cause it's so grey. It's basically Thornton Cleveland's. Don't go. I used to deliver oil there, like back in the day. So it's like, because I'd Google, it's like Cleveland's. I know that, and it's basically next to fucking Blackpool Pleasure Beach, where if you're not from England, you
won't have been there.
It's a terrible place. B2 emo, the little robot guy.
I fucking loved him. Yeah,
I'll be honest. Cool. I had tears in my eyes when Marv died, and B2 thingy, and I don't really get like, emotional about stuff in Star Wars. For me, a little kid, because I've watched Star Wars forever. The bit where Luke goes like, "I'm a Jedi, like my dad" and stuff. That always gets you a little bit, and you go. And he goes, oh, well, if this won't work for you, what about your sister? And all those little bits. There's little bits where you go, oh, that has some sort of... Whereas old man dying in the prison, Marv dying...
and then Marv's speech.
Marv's speech at the end, all those bits, I was like, fucking hell, this is killing.
My God.
But I'm thinking, shit, I've not cared for such... Like, obviously, I know the prequel trilogy wasn't great, but I never really was like... Maybe a bit where Han got stabbed.
Yeah, but I also really cared when Luke showed up at the end of Mandalorian.
Oh no, sorry. Sorry,
really
that was fantastic. But
really
if you did the Mandalorian's 20 episodes, how many times did you go? Fucking hell!
Yeah.
Whereas this, there was 4 or 5 different bits, but
they were just like, oh my
it was
God.
so good.
But not in the same way as fan service.
No, there was no fucking fan service.
It wasn't done for fan service ways where it was like, oh, we're going to show this and everyone's going to lose their mind. And all those other examples that we just said were examples of fan service. Obviously, there's Han Solo thing, but obviously that was a big one.
They were all,
but the rest of them were just like bad things or good things that happened that just. I don't know.
The only fan service really was the last shot of the whole series, the after credits scene where it's like, oh, here's the Death Star, which was kind of like, here's the thing you know, but that's as far as it went.
Here's the thing of, if you're trying to work out what those things are for, they're for this.
Are they bits of TIE
Fighter
wings
or whatever? It all makes sense now, and he's also, and it kind of, that I quite like because obviously, he did stop the Empire, but also it kind of shows why there's problems with making the Death Star and why Death Star has run behind.
It's taken so long.
Really obviously, which is quite cool as well because it's obviously he's done 3 big hits on the Empire. Kind of thing.
It was so good, and I just cared throughout it. And I think what really works is, like my friend Cristiano's watching it, and he fucking hates sci-fi and anything like that. But he was just like, no, I really like the story. I like the people in it. It's just good, and it could have been set in like 1940s Germany or whatever. It's just. It was fascism and people trying to stop it.
It's
and
like 1984. It's like it's good just because it's a science fiction.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's science fiction. It could be Star Trek.
It progresses beyond that.
It could have been medieval times. There's nothing where you're like, oh, because of this magic space thing, it's all worked out. They could have literally been building the first catapult, and that's the Death Star. It's like, oh, we're building this new weapon. It was just the human stories in between everybody, and. I cannot recommend it enough. Obviously, we just spoiled it anyway, but if you've not watched it, you're fucking mad. And the amount of people I see online going, oh, I've watched an episode, it got a bit slow. It's like, everyone watched really 2.5 hours of Rise of Skywalker. You owe it that much. Because that was so shit.
Yeah, that was shit.
So, that made like $1 billion, and you're like, it just seems mad. But I can't wait for season 2. I'm kind of annoyed, but / like happy that it's so far away. I just want to find out what's happening. I just want them to take the time making it like they do this. Because
I really do care.
This was announced before Book Fett. And I was like, oh shit, have they stopped making this? And then it was like, oh, because they just...
part of me was also a bit worried that Cassian would look too old and too like... Obviously,
it's quite a small...
has changed, but it is a very small change. But obviously 5 years behind after being 5 years in front is after being filmed 5 years, it's 10 years difference. It's kind of hard to kind of get that into consideration, but obviously it doesn't. But then straight away I was just like, oh no, I'm out of it. I'm in it. I'm in the world.
It was so good. His fucking gun, which I didn't realise is from Dark Forces. Not or was it Jedi Knight or something? The thingy gun. Yeah. Basically, it looks like to me it looks like a lot like the Blade Runner gun.
It is very cool though.
Actually, thinking to another thing in Star Wars I really cared about was in Rogue One. Well, no, sorry, that was fucking cool. But in Rogue One, thinking back, Mads Mikkelsen when he does that whole speech and a hologram as well. I think.
Are you wanting to see
Krennic or Max? Krennic. I think Krennic has to be in it in some capacity.
I would really like it, but then also part of me is like, but I like the Imperials that we've got now, and I don't want them to throw in an extra person just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? Like,
I love the fact that I didn't, apart from Cassian and Mon Mothma, and obviously there was like Saw for a little bit.
They're lost! All of them lost!
But 90% of the people I've never met before, and I really care about that. That's really nice, So I think he has to be mentioned at least. Like the Emperor was in it. But he wasn't in it. They mentioned him a few times.
But I really don't want it to be like, oh, now we've got another big bad, and because then it's sort of a bit more of a what's that guy's Ben Mendelsohn
I do like
versus we do like Ben Mendelsohn on this channel.
Mendelsohn.
It's Ben Mendelsohn versus thingy, and I don't want them to introduce someone like that because I truly don't think
I'm happy with it all being small scale.
There were so many things in Andor that I really wanted to see that we didn't see, that I was like kind of gutted that we didn't see. Do you know when they were talking about like, okay, right, we're gonna have to get some, we're gonna have to kill that pilot.
Oh, sorry,
and then have that whole situation. So I kind of thought we would see a little bit of like Death Troopers going in and doing this with a particular bounty hunter or anything like that. You know, they could have shown that, but there were loads of things that they kind of omitted, but yet sort of went, yeah, that was a success. Then the next episode, they were like, I was like, oh, we're going to get that bounty hunter or whoever's going to go to and kill that pilot. We're going to see a really cool Imperial stealth mission that's all like under the behind the closed books or whatever, confidential. But we didn't, and it was just like that went well, and it was like, wow, we got that pilot. That's good. Next plan.
Or like the whole Krieger thing, where it's like we didn't really show anything. Like, you never just met Krieger, and then it's like, by the last step, no, you saw a picture of him on the thingy. But there were so many bits where it didn't have to show you anything. Even that bit where the guys swap hats during the going to the thing. Yeah. And it's like, it didn't go, oh, they're those guys from another episode. Here's what they're going to plan to do. They didn't say a word. It was just they have like 2 or 3 lines. It was so good. But last thing, that fucking bit with Luthen and his, is it the Fondor, his ship?
I don't know if it's called the Fondor.
It's called the Fondor, the Fondant, it's something like that. That bit was so fucking cool.
It was really
and first of all, because I didn't realise that he made them increase the traction.
And you can go, oh shit, this has got layers. Like,
it's so good, and it's so similar to the Poe Dameron in Rise of Skywalker, where at the start, where he's on the radio and he's charging up his big gun, and he's like, oh, sorry, I can't hear you, and he's trying to like make small talk and jokes. Whereas, no, it's Rise of Skywalker. It's right at the start of it.
Okay.
It is literally the first scene. Yeah, because we've already met Poe.
I know, but Last Jedi was the second one. I feel like it's the second
Maybe. One. Anyway, that terrible scene where there's like trying to do radio jokes.
And he's like, oh, I can't hear you right now.
Yeah, Luthen, you're like, oh no, I totally get it. He's a man on his own. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm having to do this all manually. Yeah. But when those things came out the side, I saw him fly off. Because someone said they were in one of the trailers, but for some reason I hadn't seen the lightsaber
I didn't
laser
watch
things.
all those trailers at all. Like there was quite.
And I thought they were what they call concussion things, because they open up at the side and I was like, oh fuck, and then it went and I was like, oh fucking shit. Like, I just like lost it, and then he's just like, yeah, fuck off, bye, like calculations done.
It was so fucking cool.
A few people are saying that his robot's going to be K2SO. That's how they
his navigation robot,
because everyone's like, how is he going to or is it going to be B2? I hope it isn't either of them. I don't want B2 to get killed. I want B2 to just be happy somewhere.
I don't want him to do that either. I like the idea of it being like an amalgamation of like they sort of read an Imperial security droid, a K2 droid, what's the little book, the book that the kid writes.
They
kind of like amalgamated his personality.
The manifesto.
They kind of amalgamated the personalities of those two and sort of went, right, it's
convinced
him,
one with it.
Has convinced he runs this protocol and basically will do whatever it takes by this mandate. Not this mandate. What's it called?
Manifesto.
Yeah. So basically, it's kind of like that's your program.
Mate,
is the manifesto.
His fucking speech on that last episode where you can hear the little kid talking.
God, it's so good. The little kid. We keep talking about the little kid.
I think he's 30 or
mid-20s. Probably more like. Have you seen that film that he's in, that show, End of the Fucking World?
No, I've heard good things. I forgot he was in that. He's in that Ghost Stories, that Netflix film, Ghost Stories. Yeah, it's not on there anyway.
Stay. Fuck that.
It's very good, but he plays a very nervous kid, very similar guy.
He's very, very similar in
also,
all the
fucking
roles.
Andy Serkis. Everyone's good.
Andy Serkis is
you don't need
one
to
of the
listen
best.
to us say this. It's just
fucking watch it.
Go and fucking watch it.
It's so good.
I've got a Disney Plus account for about another 2 days.
The Empire is scary again.
They're just fucking murdering innocent people.
But that's the thing. It's nowhere near like at the level of planet destroying or anything like that. But because you're seeing it and you're seeing what he's done, what they've done to Bix, what they've done to everybody, and each person has got their own toll from dealing with the Empire. It just makes it bigger and better, and it's not like I don't know. It's just like
I couldn't have wanted anything more.
Yeah, I agree.
Not a bit like, that episode was alright. I hope it's going to get better. No.
There was one point when the showrunner said each episode's doing 3-episode arcs.
And once you get that, then
but then there was one episode, episode 7 or 8. Like the prison lasted for four episodes.
No, it's 3 episodes.
Yeah,
but he gets arrested at the end of the other one.
So like I kind of expected there to be 2 episodes in prison, but there was actually full on 3 because that third one was kind of a bit loose, and then there was only 2 episodes after the prison. But because I'd been working out to be like, he's going to get out of prison this time, and when he didn't, I was like, they're not sticking with the 3-episode arcs.
That poor Batman guy, I felt so bad at him.
But what?
The Olaf is from Batman.
Oh,
the Tim Burton one where he's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Batman. He's that guy.
But
Yeah.
he isn't that.
I know the character's name, this stupid old man, because I cared about him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Who's that girl from Obi-Wan? Who's that guy from Obi-Wan? Who's that robot from
idea.
Obi-Wan?
Who's that
No one.
robot?
Who's the
Wait,
Grand
what's the
Inquisitor?
robot? Oh, the little flying
Oh, I
frisbee
forgot about that.
thing.
No, I meant the yellow guy. But anyway, it's
What
shit.
was the yellow guy?
The kind of...
I thought it was just arms. Oh no,
No,
there's
no,
different
no.
things. There's
He was just a man in a
There's those
suit.
ones that have the power loaders though, those big things.
Yeah.
You just put the power load shoulders on there. Anyway, yeah, I think that was probably the hinge. That was quite a long
Sort
hinge
of the
compared
hinge.
to what we normally do.
I don't care. We're going to do Footloose before the end of the year,
And
maybe
also
something else.
a collect, probably, hopefully.
And a collect,
quite
yeah.
soon.
So if we don't see, watch Andor. Just
watch it. Just watch it. It's good. You'll enjoy
Even
it.
Cristiano likes it, and you don't know who he is.
He's an
But
Italian
that's
man. You
the-
do know who Cristiano
Oh,
is.
he's been in one of our videos,
because
yeah.
you've watched the Porco Rosso video and
Yeah.
you've watched the TikTok that uses that music.
Oh yeah, that
I
can't. That's my only duet.
Right.
Right.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Goodbye.
In a plane above the sea is the light that's calling me. Spending days catching the sun, chasing pirates not for fun. All my friends are in the sky. Got this space, don't ask me why. Mama, you toys always scared when they see red in the air. I wanna live like Porco Rosso. I wanna drink like Porco Rosso. I wanna live like Porco Rosso.